It was the night before Lilypad Lake's annual Firefly Festival, and little Bunny couldn't sleep. The moon was bright, the wind was whistling, and every little sound felt mysterious. With a sigh, little Bunny got out of bed. What was he hearing? A low rumble in the distance, like thunder, but there weren't any clouds. Was it a monster? He thought. Or maybe a grumpy troll awakening from its slumber. His whiskers trembled at the thought. He tiptoed to the window. It was just the wind, or maybe a friendly face peering in. Little Bunny quickly pulled back the curtain. Better to be safe than sorry. He hopped into his bunny slippers and crept down the stairs, careful not to step on the squeaky floorboard. He just had to get to the bottom of this noise. When he opened the front door, the cool night air rushed over him, making his fur stand on end. There it was again, that low rumble. Gathering all his courage, little Bunny hopped into the dark forest. The trees loomed over him like scary monsters, and the wind whispered secrets in his ear. But little Bunny kept going until he saw a familiar glow ahead. Hopping faster now, he came upon his friend Firefly, who was hanging upside down from a leaf and giggling. "What are you doing?" asked little Bunny, surprised. "I can't sleep either," said Firefly. "All the other fireflies are fast asleep, and the moon looks so big and bright tonight, and the wind is making funny noises in the trees." "Me too," said little Bunny, feeling a little silly for being scared. "Why don't you try a bedtime trick?" suggested Firefly. "Like what?" asked little Bunny. "Like counting fireflies," said Firefly. So they started counting. 1 sleepy ladybug, 2 little worms, 3 noisy crickets, 4 rustling leaves, 5 sleepy frogs. By the time they reached 10, little Bunny was feeling much calmer. But then they heard a loud crash in the bushes. Both of them froze with fright. Then out popped Deer, who had been napping. "Oh, I'm so sorry," said Deer, startled. "I didn't mean to wake you. You were making so much noise counting." "It's all right," said little Bunny. "We were just trying to count the sleepy animals in the forest." "That sounds fun," said Deer. "How about I help you count? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And with that, Deer was fast asleep. Little Bunny and Firefly giggled and continued their count. Soon they heard a splash in the lake. Curious, they hopped and flew over to the bank and peeked over the edge. In the moonlight, they saw a beaver swimming underwater. 1, 2, 3, counted little Bunny. Then suddenly Beaver poked his head out of the water and cried, "What are you doing?" "We were counting," said little Bunny. "Oh, I'm sorry," said Beaver. "I didn't mean to interrupt you. Would you like to help me count the stars instead?" So they climbed onto a nearby log. 1 bright star, 2 twinkling stars, 3 shining stars, 4 distant stars. Little Bunny yawned. Counting stars was a lot more fun than counting sleepy animals. Just then, a shooting star streaked across the sky. "Make a wish," said Beaver. "I wish I could sleep," said little Bunny. "Me too," said Firefly. And just like that, they all started to feel very sleepy. As they drifted off, they heard a deep voice say, "Who's awake? Who's awake?" Startled, they looked around. Hopping, flying, and swimming, they quickly hid. The voice boomed again, "Who's awake? Who's awake?" But this time it didn't sound angry. It sounded kind. Slowly, cautiously, they peeked out from their hiding places, and there in front of them stood a tall, friendly-looking owl with big yellow eyes. Are you the one making all the noise?" asked little Bunny. Owl blinked slowly. "Noise? I don't make any noise. I'm very quiet. I'm an owl." He introduced himself. "I'm Owl, and I love to read stories by the light of the moon." "Well, that sounds nice," said Firefly. "It does, doesn't it?" said Owl. "If you'd like, you can join me." So they all sat together on a nearby branch while Owl read them a wonderful story about a brave knight and his quest for the golden snore. After a while, little Bunny snuggled up to Owl's soft feathers and started to doze off. "Do you want me to keep reading?" asked Owl. "No, thank you," said little Bunny sleepily. "This has been the best bedtime ever. Thank you, Owl." "You're welcome," hooted Owl. "Now go home and get some rest. You'll have a busy day tomorrow at the Firefly Festival." As little Bunny skipped home, he realized that sometimes the scariest nights can be the most fun. And sometimes all you need is a good story to get you through. When he got back to his house, he climbed back into bed and snuggled under his covers. As he closed his eyes, he heard the sounds of the forest, the wind in the trees, the crickets in the grass, the owls in the sky. They were no longer scary or mysterious. They were just the sounds of home. And with that, little Bunny was fast asleep, dreaming of fireflies and festivals and all the wonderful friends he'd made along the way. The next morning, when the sun was shining and the birds were singing, little Bunny woke up feeling refreshed and ready for the day. He couldn't wait to see all his friends at the Firefly Festival. As he got out of bed, he heard a knock at the door. Opening it, he saw all his animal friends from the night before. "I couldn't sleep last night," said Deer. "And neither could I," said Beaver. "So we thought we'd come over and see if you wanted to get ready for the festival together." "That sounds like fun," said little Bunny. "Come on in." And so they all spent the morning getting ready for the festival. They brushed their fur, fluffed their feathers, and polished their shells. They helped each other put on their best outfits and did each other's makeup with berries and flowers. They told jokes and played games and sang songs until it was time to leave. As they all walked to the lake, they couldn't help but laugh and play. They splashed in the water, chased butterflies, and rolled in the grass. It was the perfect day for a party. When they arrived at the lake, they were met with a sight that took their breath away. The fireflies had transformed the lakefront into a magical wonderland. There were twinkling lights everywhere, and the trees were decorated with flowers and vines. All the animals in the forest had gathered here to celebrate the night, and there was music and dancing and laughter. Little Bunny and his friends spent the whole night celebrating. They danced with their friends, played games with their neighbors, and watched the fireworks light up the sky. It was the best night of their lives. And as they finally made their way home at the end of the night, they knew they would never forget this magical night at the Firefly Festival. Little Bunny snuggled into his bed, his heart full of joy and his eyes full of dreams. He had learned that sometimes the scariest things can be the most fun, and sometimes all you need is a good story to get you through the night. And with that, he closed his eyes and fell fast asleep.